Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you so much for joining me again today for another Stamp Around UK video hop. Okay, everyone's using the theme of celebration or celebrating for our hop today. So in the description, if you just click on that more little prompt there'll be a whole list of YouTube videos that you can hop through, all using the same theme. Everyone will have made different things entirely, all Stampin' Up demonstrators, all working in the UK, and this is just an opportunity to showcase some products around a central theme. So please do like and subscribe and share those videos with people who you think might find them interesting. So we're always, trying to build our subscribership and getting in getting other people involved in card making, and that's what it's all about, sharing what we do and enjoying that feedback. So for my video I'm going to be using a brand new set. This is an online exclusive set which is about to be released, called Cake Celebrations. Okay, this is a photopolymer set, and you can build up a couple of different cakes, decorate them with flowers, and then we've got some really nice generic greetings there that you can use on their own or with the stamp set itself, candles and things like that as well. And we've got a great set of coordinating dies. Some of them coordinate with the images, so you can cut the leaves and the flowers out, and the candles. Yep. Okay. But some of the other stuff is just standalone stamp sets. Okay. Oh, and you can cut out the little cake stand as well. Okie dokie. So we need the cake stand actually. So I'll just pull that off. And we need the drippy icing. I've already die cut the flowers, and we need this little piece here to decorate our cake stand as well. So we'll take that off. So using quite a lot of the dies in the set. Okay. We're going to be creating a background using the Everyday Details dies, and it's this die that we're going to use. So there are rectangles in the set as well. This particular die cuts an aperture and with the dots, the piercing, and also a separate piece out of the centre, also with the dots inside there. Okay, so we're going to use that die as well. All right. I've got various other ones all on my little magnetic. This is a needle keeper. People use mechanics bowls, all that kind of thing, to keep their dies together. So just to let you know that that's a handy little tool, really, just to keep everything where it should be. Okay. So as you can see, we're going to layer up, make a 2-tier cake with our lovely drippy frosting, and decorate it with some flowers. Okay, and we're using basic beige and basic white as our background, but I'm going to mix up the colours for the actual cake decoration today. Okay, so what we've already got in cut, if you like, is a basic beige layer here, okay, which we're going to cut the circle out of. Okay, and then we've got a basic white card base, just a regular card base. So this guy we're going to place centrally-ish, somewhere there. And we'll just tape that into position. I'm going to tape to the inside because we're going to discard the inside bit. So if that tape does pull a little bit, we can just move that. So that's going to create our lovely little aperture that we can mount our cake over. So if I just run that through, okay, you'll get all those little dots pop out. Okay, but we get this nice aperture in our card front, okay, which we can stick down later. Okay, and hopefully it's central enough by eye to warrant. There we go. Okay, and then we get this lovely little piece that we can just Hopefully that tape will come off nice and easy, which it did. And we've got another little die cut piece that we can use for another project. And we'll just need to make sure that that's all cleaned off so that we can die cut all our other elements without getting all those little pieces stuck inside. Right, so that's all nice and cleaned out. So the other bits and pieces that we've got here, we'll die cut the cake layers out of the basic beige. Okay, so that's ready to go, and we can build our cake up once we're ready. Okay, and then we want to get our cake stands stamped and die cut. Okay, so we're going to use smoky slate and smoky slate ink for that. So we'll just ink that up and pop that down, just leaving enough space to die cut around it. Okay, and the stamp puts in a nice little bit of detail in there as well, so that's pretty. But really we're only going to see that base section because we're going to put a little bit of cardstock over the top. Okay, which we're going to do in Petal Pink. So that's our other one that we're going to do, and we're going to cut some of the frosting from some lemon lolly cardstock, and that piece isn't big enough, so let's just grab another piece that will be. Okay, so that'll be fine. Let's just trim that down so that we can get everything cut down and onto our cutting plate, so we don't need as much on there. So we'll cut a piece there. Okay, so let's just pop all of those onto the cutting plate. So the beauty of having a larger machine rather than the mini machine means that you can die cut several things at the same time. Just going to cut away this excess because we don't need it in our way. Okay, and then we're going to roll that through. You can see how scratched up this cutting plate is, so I just keep using it and using it and using it until it falls apart. Okay, and then we put another plate on top. Okay, and as per the instructions on the machine, if we're using die cuts, we need our base platform. Always need the base platform no matter what you're doing. We need the thin die adapter plate, which is the number 2 plate, which is this one, and then our dies between our 2 cutting plates. Okay, so obviously those have just jiggled around while I move those across, so just repositioning those and we'll run those through. Okay, so again we'll just use our little magnetic thingy so that we've got all our pieces, our dies rather, all safe. And then obviously we've got these little scraps that we can get rid of, and here's our little cake stand. Okay, and then what I've done ahead of time is already die cut a whole heap of, well, I'll say a whole heap, several leaves and flowers and things. Okay, and I've used Calypso Coral and Petal Pink for those, and I've used soft sea foam and Granny Apple Green to cut some leaves. Okay, so we might use some but not all. Okay, rightio then, so let's start putting together our lovely little bits and pieces here then. Okay, so first of all I'm going to just pop the little complimentary piece of Petal Pink on the top of this because I want this to dry. So I'm just going to put just a smidge of glue across the top of that and pop that on. This is like the lovely ribbon that you get around the base of your cakes, just to coordinate it all. So it's going to take just a sec or two to dry, so we'll just pop that to one side. And I'm going to do likewise with the icing here. So we'll just pop just the merest amount of glue. So the less you use, the less likely you will get squidgy bits squeezing out, and also it will dry faster. So just lay that across the top. Like so. And then of course your cakes can be lots of different flavours, so you can really experiment with your colours. Okay, so that's designed to overhang so it looks like it's got some dimension to it. Okay, and then likewise with that one, just make sure it's there. And then we can always use some little some of our acrylic blocks just to as little weights, just to hold those down while they dry. Okay, so if you've got a few of those, then they come in really handy for this kind of thing. So we'll just give those a couple of minutes to dry. Okay, so these are nice and dry. Let me just pop those away there. Ooh, whoops-a-daisy, stuck to the thing. And we can start building up our little cake now. Okay, so I'm just going to use a bit of sticky tape to help with this. And I'm just going to pop that on the back of this top layer as it will be. Okay, and then just layer that cake up, trying to get that sort of central. Don't want a lopsided cake. Okay, so that's going to help us stick it down as a single unit when we ultimately go and put that down. We're going to use the same thing to attach the cake base. So we can use a slightly longer piece there, and we want that, because it's only skinny, the little cake base, we just want to overhang that just by a hair, and just line that one up as well. Okay, so there's our sort of cake sort of semi adhered now. Okay, and actually I think it's probably just as easy to decorate it while it's on the card. So let's build our card. I'll just use some Stampin' Seal for this layer. And because of the aperture, I'm just going to pop a little bit around there, just to make sure that that doesn't gape, basically. Right, and we'll pop that onto the front. And the white card base is sort of a deliberate decision, just to sort of frame this up and just give it a bit of oomph. And then we get the white showing through on these dots, which is also really, really cute. On the sample card, I decided to add the additional bit on the inside, but I don't know whether it detracts, so we're going to do this one without the little bit on the inside there, and we're just going to pop this up onto the dimensionals. So I'm just going to put a couple on that layer, a couple on this layer, and then the minis fit really nicely on the base of this cake stand just here. Okay, so just get those off and we'll put that onto the card. There is a little bit of a difference in height between the sort of the center of the aperture and the card base, but it's only going to be obviously a card thickness, so it should be just fine. Okay, and then you can place that where you want it to be. So looking to get that nice and centered with the bottom there, and also at the top, so there's just a little bit of that aperture showing through. Okay, and hopefully that looks straight. Okay, I'm not putting any candles on this one. Okay, so there we go. So now we just need to decorate. Okay, so we've got our selections of leaves. So there's a large sort of set and a little set that we can use. Okay, and then we've got our little flowers. All right, so we're going to use some liquid glue here. Okay, and we'll pop one of these darker ones up here, and then pointing down towards the bottom. You need a dab of this stuff, it's really strong, so we'll pop that in like that. It's going to be very dimensional, very extravagant cake. Okay, and then one of the lighter ones as well. And then the little tiny ones we can pop in when we're happy with the placement of our flowers. So flowers, I always like to shape flowers. So use a soft mat, magazine, anything like that, and some kind of rounded tool. So I've got one of these ball tool things, which is good, and you make sort of little cup shapes by pressing into there, and then if you turn them over and press the centers, you get these really nice sort of divoted flowers. Okay, so obviously pressing into your hand hurts, don't do it. Okay, and we can just use little beads of glue onto those portions to position those. And obviously we've got a mix of light and dark, and it might be that we only use 3 of them because 3 is a magic number. Okay, and then I think a darker one like so. Yeah, that looks good. So I'm not going to use this one. So let's just pop that out the way before it ends up stuck to something and I haven't got anything to stick it to. There we go. Let me just use this scrap. There we go. And get that glue off my fingers. Okay. So that looks good. And again, if you wanted to use like you take your pick tool just to sort of make sure that they're in contact, because that wet glue is going to take a minute to dry. Okay, and I don't think I'm going to add any more leaves to that either. I think I'm going to leave it as it is. Okay, so we can use those for another project. Okay, and then we can just stamp our sentiment across the bottom. So this is our Celebrate sentiment. Okay, so I did that in black ink on the sample card, just as a bit of a contrast, if you like. Okay, but we could use an espresso or anything like that, but let's just stick with black for simplicity and for a bit of pop. So we'll just use black memento ink. Just make sure that's nice and well inked, and because it's sort of scripty, you can kind of get away with being at a jaunty angle, and a jaunty angle that's deliberate looks better than something that's trying to be straight that ends up not being straight, if you know what I mean. So let's just make that jaunty angle intentional. Okay, and that's really, really nice and simple. And then obviously we can just embellish that with whatever we need to. So I used little pearls on the other one, but let's use some just good old gemstones, rhinestones for these. And these little tiny ones are going to be perfect for adding to those flower centres and then across the rest of the card. So we'll just pop those on gently because everything's still a bit wet at the moment, so you might just need to be a tad patient with that. So obviously in an ideal world I'd let that dry a little bit longer, but there we are. So we'll just pop those in. Oh, I haven't pressed that hard enough to get that to stick, so just give me. There we go. Okay, so there's a lovely little cluster of 3, but we can just further embellish that quite nicely with another 3, just to make that sort of visual triangle that we like when we're designing. Okay, so that is it. That is our well, that's my version of the Celebrate theme for our Stamp Around UK video hop. Please do use the links in the description to see everybody else's project. Okay, well, the only thing I haven't put on is some Wink of Stella. It's this icing wants a little bit of you know how that, like, you've got the sugar crystals in there and they sort of twinkle a bit. So a bit of Wink of Stella will just make that frosting, or icing as we would call it in the UK, twinkle a little bit. It's very subtle, but it's really nice in real life. Okay, and then this is my original version with the pinks. I did a few more flowers on this one, but I think the 3 worked out just nicely. Okay, different colour combinations that you can try, and of course you can make it match whatever you want. There's wedding sentiments in there, so obviously you can tie that in with bridal colours as well. So the world is your lobster when it comes to that, and making it fit the occasion that you're celebrating. Okay, thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this. Do look out for this new bundle in the online store very soon. Do stay safe, take care, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye.